Most of the videos on my channel are geared more towards more complicated fixes and so forth, things that require you to have special tools or knowledge or confidence. But I wanted to do a series on just some of the basic stuff for folks. Figured that might be helpful since my channel is WJ Handy Dad. It's supposed to be kind of stuff maybe your dad would teach you, and you know, my kids are not really hands-on types. They learn more from videos. So anyway, that's the purpose of this series. So I'm going to do a series of really short videos just kind of showing you how to do things that you should be able to do regardless of your skill level or tools and so forth. First video in our series is checking your engine oil. You do this with the engine off and your car on a level surface. If you were just running the engine, you need time for the oil to settle down, because the oil pump pushes oil through the engine and then gravity will put it back down in the oil pan. This car's been sitting long enough that the oil has settled, so you want to find your dipstick. It's going to look something like this. It may say oil, it may say dipstick on it. If you're not sure, check in your owner's manual where your dipstick is. Every car should have a dipstick for oil. I know a lot of the newer ones don't have a transmission dipstick, but they should still have an oil one. So you want to pull the dipstick and you want to wipe it clean and then reinsert it fully, unless it says not to reinsert it fully, but every one I've ever seen, you push it all the way in and then pop it back out, and you want to look at the oil level. So most dipsticks have marks on them to show 1 quart low and full. You want your oil level to be between those, preferably closer to the full level. You don't want to be overfilled, and you certainly don't want to be below the bottom line. The other thing you can do, and I picked a white towel purposely for this video, is look at the color of the oil. Brand new oil is kind of a honey color. Really bad, way past due to change oil, is kind of a blackish color. So I'm sort of in between that. I'm getting close to an oil change. I need to look and see when my next one's due. If your oil was low, you need to find your fill cap. Mine actually shows which oil that you should use. A lot of them don't, so you may have to research to figure out what you should use. Mine uses 520. That means it's 5 when it's cold and it's 20 weight when it's warm. It's just basically thin and thicker oil. The larger the number, the thicker the viscosity. There's some trade-offs. The thicker oil doesn't flow as well. It may offer more protection when it's actually flowed onto something, but modern engines may have passages that the thicker oils can't get through, so it's not necessarily advantageous to go with a higher number. You should really use what's recommended. But remove your cap, pour in what you need to, and replace it. Now, if you're having to do that frequently, you've got a problem that needs to be addressed that's beyond this video. If you need to add a little every now and then, it's not that big of a deal. And remember, the marks on the dipstick are about 1 quart, so if it's halfway between the top and bottom, then don't add more than a half a quart, and so forth. But you really should not have to be adding oil in between oil changes. If you are, you've got some sort of problem, and obviously the more frequently you're having to add, the worse the problem. Alright, so why do you want to check your oil? Well, there's several reasons to do it. Number one, you want to make sure that your oil is staying full. If you're losing oil between oil changes, you either got an oil leak or you're burning oil, neither of which is good. You definitely don't want to let your oil run low, because that can cause major engine problems. Number two, it just kind of keeps you aware of your vehicle. You can watch as the oil ages. Obviously, you need to be changing your oil regularly. Every manufacturer has a recommended mileage or time. Also, by you checking your oil, you can see the color changes, and you can change it when the oil starts to get a little dark, even if it's earlier than recommended. It's a good idea to change your oil early rather than late. Number two, if you are paying somebody to change your oil, that's a great way for you to know that it actually got changed. You can check it before you go in, and if it's kind of a darker brown or blackish color, and then when it's changed, it should come back and be more of a honey color. If the color didn't change, then they didn't change your oil. I know that may sound crazy, but there are places that will take your money and not change your oil. Anyway, hope this video series is going to be helpful to a lot of you. Let me know if you have other basic car questions that you want me to answer, and I'll be glad to do that. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.